Hello guys, NautoAis here, and this is gonna be part 2 of games packing games. And the reason I'm doing a second part, this is actually gonna be a response to both Colin Moriarty from Kind of Funny Games, yeah, Colin Moriarty, and Cass. I think his name is Cassidy. I seen him in Game Trader, but he owns a website called Go Nintendo. I did mention them from time to time, especially the one with Nintendo Land being $20 at Best Buy, so thanks Go Nintendo. So basically, I'm gonna be talking about more about packing game, or basically respond to them because they kind of gave their thoughts of about packing game, and if, the gist of it is that Colin basically is disappointed. Why isn't the Switch having a packing game? Kind of sucks. And then Cassidy basically rebutted it. I kind of agree to some part of what he said, but I also kind of disagree on some aspects. So I did kind of mention it before. I even made a rant about it. And the reason, again, why is the Switch doesn't have a packing game? Because it's cost. If they put in a packing game, they have to raise the price. That is true. But the thing is, to some extent, a packing game should not. And I know it's going to be like, well, you're having your cake in 82. Well, you could also say you can say the same thing with Nintendo. They're also basically doing is they're having cake and eat it too. So your call, which one to switch. But anyway, yes, it is true. You put in that packing game, it's gonna cost money. Then they probably want to raise the price because then they don't want to lose money. Sony never done a packing game. I did mention that before. I don't think Microsoft did in the beginning also. And yeah, even Sega with Dreamcast, they stopped doing packing games because Nintendo. And I did mention before that the Famicom, they never had a packing game, and they did a follower that apparently the Wii in Japan didn't have a packing game. We Sport watching a packing game, but packing game was an American thing. Because again, the whole point of packing game is to give a consumer or gamers incentive to show that capability of the system by the particular game. Case in point, the action set. That came in late. What people, and Cassidy kind of said it, the first ever SKU for the NES was the Super Mario set. That was the first SKU. That was the most popular SKU ever. And then later on, I think they re-released it, but they also had, like I said, the action set, which is the most popular one. You get 2 games, and then you got the power set when you got 3 games, and of course there was the Rob the Robot set, which is a mysterious and orthodox games. But again, if you like Rob the Robot, there you go. That's the ultimate SKU there, most popular. Well, sort of the most popular one, but the most mainstream one was the action set. And Cassidy, I have to agree with Cassidy on this one. It is true what it said. Again, like I said, you put a packing game, it does cost, you have to raise the price. That's what they did with the multiple SKU. However, the point of the packing game, like I said, it's supposed to be the quote-unquote free game, is that you do, like I said before, you bite the dust. You take that loss. You put in the game, and you sell it in a very low cost. Maybe $10, maybe $20. Who knows? But that's the whole point. That was been, to believe it or not, and the only reason why Nintendo kind of get away with it in the past because the system didn't really cost much. Remember, what the reason why they get away with not selling a console that lost is Gunpei Yokoi's strategy. The late Gunpei Yokoi, he basically said to the company, we should have a strategy of using cheap, durable parts. I mean, is that even possible? Well, I guess in case with Nintendo, there is. Cheap, durable part that's so cheap, let's refine it and then make it quality level. There you go. They've been doing that with the NES, with the Super NES, N64, Wii U. And the thing was also what people don't understand is they also use old parts to make new parts. Something that Nintendo basically was known for to some extent. The one I heard that people probably know is the Wii balance board. They used the part from the GameCube or the GameCube controller, because again they had a lot, but then they're not selling anymore. Whatever you're gonna do with it, just throw them away. So they basically did something with it I think I'm going to use the plastic. They converted plastic into the Wii Fit board plastic. There you go. The component, maybe they did something, who knows? But that's what Nintendo was known for, and ever since they never ever sell a console at a loss, and they do get away with that. So what's his name? Cassidy did there. Cassidy basically, excuse me, I think that's his name. If not, I do apologize. Basically said, but like he said, it's one of those situations also because the problem is console this day costs more now to develop. I can agree with that. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So putting in a packing game basically is probably they're not going to be profitable for them because again, like I said, because again, like consumer want is something they have their cake and eat it too. So people like I said want to switch, and why not put a game? I even still agree that should be a packing game to the Switch because again, it shows the capability of what the Switch is. It just makes sense. But what Cassidy basically said is, well, if you put that game, then it'll be now $350. They're trying to keep it $300. Again, my counter to that is, no, packaging should be to a bare minimum cost that technically you are cutting your losses. But Nintendo doesn't do that because that's always been what they're saying. And they kind of get away with it because, like I said, using cheap parts and still have that quality, hey, they get away with it. They did it with the NES. With the Super Nintendo, they were able to sell it for $200 because the Super Nintendo was cheap. So the game was $50 or maybe $60. I don't know. It's a cartridge. And there you go. It's when the N64 started, when they stopped doing it. And sort of the reason is the Virtual Boy. Because believe it or not, I didn't mention this on my other video, is that the Virtual Boy, when it first came out, did have a packing game, which is Virtual Boy Mario Tennis. It had a packing game, and they were not selling them like lots, but of course it was a little bit expensive. And then when they had lowered the price, then yeah, there was some problem there. So I guess they said, no, hey, you know what? We don't do it in Japan. Why not do it in America? So now they started doing it, and of course a lot of people said, well, it's kind of like BS. Because I can't remember how much I think it was $199, $299. I can't remember how much the N64 is. But yeah, they did mention something like, yeah, you put in a game, it's going to cost more. So, and what Cats basically said, the problem with Nintendo is that if, say, they do put a packing game, like want to switch on the system, and then they ought to raise the price for $350, which again, like I said before, I'm going to say it again, is you don't put it on you don't raise the price just because you put in a packing game. You're supposed to have that game and you cut your losses. But again, Nintendo doesn't do it. So say they don't do it, then $350, then people will complain that, oh my gosh, that why would you put this? Why can't I have my own option? There you go. Because again, Nintendo doesn't want to take a loss. So as Cassidy to say, I have to agree with it. I may not like it, but I don't agree with it. Damn if you do, damn you don't. You don't put in a packing game, consumer gets upset. You put in a packing game that shows the capability of the Switch, and it's not something you like, and then they have to raise the price. And that's, again, another damn. Damn you do, damn you don't. Because consumer again going to get pissed. But what consumer wants is to have their cake and eat it too. But that's always been one of the strategy that help consumer entice to buy your console. But now, not so much. Again, the problem with the Wii U was there was two options. There was the basic set, which bare bones for $200. That's what the Switch were doing. And then at $350, you got those doodads and Nintendo Land, which is in the beginning was costing $60, but you buy it with the system, it's $50. Again, why can't that be $300 with the deluxe set? Well, they kind of did it, but then unfortunately they were selling it a lot, and like I said in my mini NES rant, is that Nintendo cannot handle when things doesn't sell, and when suddenly they're selling console a lot, they don't know what to do. Like, they have no contingency. Unlike Sony or Microsoft, like, they know what to do. Like, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do it. No, Nintendo doesn't. And they get flustered, and that's why at one point they, like I said, I'm repeating this, I know. Fiscal of 2014, the lady water basically said the reason why we weren't making money when the markdown of the Wii U, that hurt our company. But again, that, like I said, yeah, the sucky thing about you put a packing game and you're trying to keep it low, they're gonna lose profit. Nintendo doesn't want to do it. But at the same time, it will entice, especially your early adopter, to buy your system. Like, oh, I see. And like I mentioned, because if you don't do anything, what Reggie basically said, oh, you have the $50 your option or $60. Yeah, but you're telling them you're greedy because you don't want to take a loss. It's whatever. It sucks. But again, it is what it is. But then I do agree with Cassidy in the long run. Yes, after the long run, and they've been, like I said, the NES did it with the triple SKU. The basic set, action set, the power set, and later on when Super Mario Bros. 3 came out, there was the challenge set. Same goes with Super Nintendo. When you bought it later, you get Super Mario World plus Super Mario All-Star in one cartridge. No kidding. And 64 was so, there was, yes, the Donkey Kong 64 people was known for, but there was also, for limited time, the Super Mario 64 plus Atomic, Purple, and 64 controller. But yeah, that was a rare limited. They didn't put a lot of it. But yes, it is true that in the long run, the console will do a packing game in the long run. But the point of a packing game, it's a game that you cannot get by yourself. You can't buy by itself, that you can only get it with the console. For a while, Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, you couldn't get it by itself. Even Track and Meet. Super Mario World couldn't get it by itself. Wii Sports you couldn't get it by itself. Nintendo Land, well, they kind of screwed up because not only it's a packing game, they decided also to make it a game also itself for $60. You buy it as a digital deluxe, $10 down. It doesn't really worth $60. It's more like $20, but that's just me. So again, you see that's the problem. That's why packing game is essential. Yeah, people complain with Sony and Microsoft. How come you don't do packing game? Again, with Sony, they did it with what they did with the PlayStation was a demo disc. Same goes with the PS2. But rather than the demo disc was included in the box, there's an offer sheet. You mail it to PlayStation. They'll mail you a demo disc. You do, well, that's not a game. Well, it's sort of a game. It's a demo game. You still have the video game experience. Just saying there. And then with the PS3, yeah, the first launch, I had a Spider-Man, like I said. But like I said, there were free games in the Nintendo PlayStation store, Like I said, Sudoku, some Go Puzzle game, some demos, Gran Turismo HD. Again, free games. That's the thing. It's a free game. It's not like you want it, but it's something to show the capability of the system. What about 360? Well, for the Xbox, I think I can't remember the packing because I don't really follow, like I said before. 360 had free demos and free game. So does the Xbox. By the time of the Xbox One and PS4 came, they were free to play. There you go. Here's the question: will it be free to play games on the Switch? So that's probably going to back your free packing game. Like I said, they're thinking outside the box. Packing game normally means either a digital download, which is sort of not, a physical case, disc, Switch, game card, whatever, in the box itself. But that's in the past because there was no download, there was no computer. You don't connect your video game in the internet. That's first was granted with the Xbox, PS2 and GameCube followed suit a bit, but not so good. But it was the Wii, the PS3, 360 were the first ever refined online feature. Let's just say that. There you go. So they're thinking outside the box. Why put in a packing game when we can just have a free-to-play game or a downloadable free game? Just go to the store. But if you're saying, well, I don't have an internet in my house. Well, I'm sorry to say that in 2005, you probably should, by then, you should already have internet. And if you don't, I don't know what to say, but the thing is, yes, sadly to say, the internet is a necessity now of today's culture, not like in 1990s. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have internet, I mean, except if you're basically in the military, then that's a different story. I can't say anything about that, but that's a different story. But yeah, I mean, you should be connecting your system online. There you go. But still, for Colin, I can agree that it should be a packing game no matter what. That should be an industry standard, but they don't because costs can go up. In Cassidy, I cannot agree that yes, it is going to cost high, but I can disagree that that's not what a packing game is supposed to do. It's supposed to be a quote unquote a free game. You're cutting your losses because you know your consumer will have that experience, and then they'll go, oh, maybe I'll buy more games because the console's fun. Just putting it out there. So, yeah, I mean, Cassidy, I kind of get what you're saying there. You know, damned if they do, damned if they don't, because at the end of the day, it's about cost. But the thing about also, like I said, packing game is that it is meant to take a loss. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like suck, but that's what a strategy is. Kind of like Sony, Microsoft strategy, the way they did this Razer strategy, which is you take a loss on the console, but you make it up on the software. The only reason why Nintendo never done it, because, well, they never done it in the past, but even they tried to, they really don't have third-party support. So, yeah. So, anyway, yeah, that's my response to both Colin Moriarty and Cassidy on packing game. In the end of the day, I just believe it should be an industry standard. How they do it, it's up to them. A packing game is a packing game. It doesn't have to be a physical media. It can be something from download. So, and if you don't have an internet, by 2017... I don't know what to say. So with that, thanks for listening.